Good morning.
Hey there. It's good to see you.
Well, sort of. Greg's going to keep his eyes on the road. We are heading down to one of our other businesses in Fort Lauderdale. Our home health care down there is going to take care of some seniors and different people down in this direction.
Yep. Got to make sure everybody's okay.
But Greg is going to be a safe driver, and he is going to watch the road. Occasionally he might glance over like he would at me if we were driving, but other than that, he's going to be very responsible.
Very responsible.
So welcome to today's broadcast. Hey, very quickly, today is all about taking a peek into the future.
Hey man, who doesn't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
so Gregory Ray, did you have some thoughts as you're driving?
First of all, hey mom, look, I got my seatbelt on. You'd be proud of me. I was just thinking the world is going to be different. It already is different. And, I was having a conversation with some friends last night. We were talking about, the world getting back to normal and just, the different changes and all that. And as we were talking, we just made note of the idea that if you're sitting around waiting for things to go back to normal, then you're sitting around waiting for something you're going to be sitting around waiting for something like that forever. It's not going to happen. Right. Truly things are going to be different from now on, and I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. Everybody is in a whirlwind of change and things of that nature, and I think that it's really important that we begin to think into our own future and how it is that we can capitalize on this, what it is that we can do to lean into this. I remember reading the book Good to Great, Julie, one of my favorite business books, and I remember that one of the things that they talked about in that book and in the companies that were great and that they were sustainable for years and years and years. One of the primary differences was their ability to be able to pivot during times of change. And those who think, well, this will pass, and a lot of this will pass, but there's a lot of things about this that are not going to pass. Right. People are realizing, hey, you know what? It may be a lot more economical for me to do my meetings, online versus, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't want to trail. That's really not the heart of what this is about today. It's really about your future and leveraging some vision, and you're really tapping into that to this great opportunity to work together to find some unity in your vision for the future. Love.
Yep. So with that, today's quote, if you will, is from Helen Keller. And I love what she said. She says the most pathetic person. Now, I don't want to be pathetic.
No.
I don't want to be pathetic. But she says the most pathetic person in the world is the person who has sight but no vision.
Oh.
And I thought, wow, how appropriate for our life, right?
Yeah.
Being able to, sometimes we can see the things around us, but we have no vision to go past the immediate present. And so today, I wanted to zero in on Jeremiah 29:11. It's what I'm meditating on. It's what we're meditating on. And that is that God says, I have plans to prosper you and not harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Sorry, I'm still trying to drive for him. Even though his eyes are on the road, I catch myself like wanting to drive.
This is not an unusual thing, just so you know. I mean, maybe the camera's unusual, but her trying to drive for me.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a front seat driver right along with you. So with that though, Jeremiah 29:11, God says that I have plans to bless you, not harm you. Did you know that? That God's plans are to bless. Even in this season, some of the things that seem so frustrating are his plans of blessing. And so the question is do we believe that? As believers, do we believe that God's intent, right? His plans are to bless, not harm. His plans are to give us a hope and a future.
Jules, I was thinking as you were saying that, I think some of you may be where I've been many times and struggling with, wow, did I do something wrong? Because you're dealing with some things that are out of your control and they're extremely painful and uncomfortable and so on. And you may be thinking, gosh, did I miss God? Did I screw up? Did I do something? Was I disobedient somewhere? Did I miss, just all those different questions I think that we can conjure up in our mind. And look, if there's some things that you need to correct and dial in your life, by all means do those things. But God God doesn't. My experience is that God is always full of love and graciousness, and if He's allowing something in our life, it's so that He can build us up. It's never so that He can tear us down. He never wants to tear us down.
Yep.
And so you're just in process of something that is going to be a great blessing to you and probably some other people in the future. Julie, let's talk a little bit more about vision. You got some.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. My rotate. There it goes. The selfie stick's going all over the place. It came unstuck. But hey, so yeah, I think that the real question though that a lot of folks are facing, that we're facing, is how do you dream forward when you feel stuck in the present? How do you dream forward when it seems like there are so many things that are contradicting what your future vision is, and sometimes it's just hard to move forward when there are so many things that are trying to monopolize your time. And so with that, I'm going to have to pull this in just a little bit. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's, I think sometimes our mind gets muddled, and our mind gets muddled when we get in problem fix-it mode. When we get into that place where we're trying to solve issues or problems rather than dreaming into the future. And so the idea is that we begin to sabotage our dreams by focusing on our immediate needs. We begin to be me-focused sometimes, I think, in relationship rather than we-focused.
Can I expand on that just a little bit?
Absolutely,
Just
would
that
love you
one
to.
piece?
While you do, I'm going to try to fix this little.
Okay, so here's an example of that.
Watch the road.
I'm totally watching the road. There's a historical documentation in the Bible that talks about a guy who came in and was starving, right?
Right.
And he sold his soul for a bowl of soup.
Oh, come on now.
And I think when we read that story, over the years, a lot of times I've been like, what an idiot, you know what I mean? Like, who the flip does that, But then
Let's talk about Esau, obviously.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, you were going to go there. I stole your thunder.
Dude,
okay, go
it's
on.
all good. Totally all good. But anyway, legitimately, it's like, what kind of a moron would do that? But then I think back over my own life, and I think about where I have sacrificed the long-term gain for a short-term fix,
right?
if
For
you
that
will.
immediate gratification.
And I think that a lot of times we can do that. We do it a lot of times with our spending habits.
Right.
We do it a lot of time with our health. It's I'm gonna go ahead and eat 15 freaking cookies versus maintaining and eating something a little bit more healthy. It's a little bit of a sacrifice now, but you know what I'm saying. It's things of that nature, I think, that can really catch us off guard and get us in the habit of just managing for our current rather than managing for our future. And there's times when you got to bail water from the ship, fair enough. But by and large, I think most of us fall prey to, on our bad days anyway, the same thing that Esau did. So anyway, please continue on with vision and thinking into the future.
Such a great, I used to think, well, you bonehead, what are you doing? Why would you give up your birthright, that promise, the inheritance, and the blessing of your father for a bowl of soup? And then I thought, I'm the bonehead. How many times have I done that where things got tough, and so I gave up on that future vision and dream because I felt wounded or just frustrated or fatigued? And I think that that's where a lot of our thinking and our dreaming gets stopped. Our vision for the future gets stopped when we're focused too much on the specifics of the day. So the idea is to look past those specifics, look past that, the frustrations or the things that are causing us fear or fatigue, and to look forward into a hope-filled future. Oh, we're stopped. Look, you can look at the camera now.
I did.
Hope-filled future, right? That vision, the future promise. What is it that you're dreaming about with your spouse? When's the last time that you stopped and got excited about the possibilities?
Yeah.
What about in the current circumstances? We were talking with our friends last night, and we said, what we're excited about is we're doing things today because of the hardships of our circumstances that we wouldn't normally have been doing, like a Facebook Live every day. By the way, next week it's going to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just for future.
Yeah, but you know what? Let's tell them some good news along with that too, though. We're working. It's going to take us a minute to work it out, but we're also working on some themes for those days. We're thinking about doing, maybe one day being like a Marriage Monday or something like that. I don't know, but
parenting.
You know, addressing some parenting issues. We have a lot of questions on that, and we've been asked for it, and we're developing a video series for that as well. But anyway, so we're going to try to put some themes on that so that you kind of know what to expect and know what we're going to be bringing. But you know, back to this idea of vision again. You know, for the sake of understanding, as you're thinking into your future, and as Julie's telling you, hey, you know, we'll be thinking about all the things that are, you know, confusing you and all the problems and issues that are in your face right now.
Right.
It's not that we're ignoring and say that problems don't exist. Again, those of you who follow us, you know what kind of how this is going to end up going. What I'm about to say. But the important thing is that you ask, okay, what are the desired outcomes? So that is a peek into your future in of itself, because what is the desired outcome is beyond where we currently are. So sometimes a problem will make us aware that there's something that needs to change in our life.
Yep.
And then we leverage that idea of a problem or an issue, and instead of putting all of our focus on the thing that is negative, since what we feed grows and what we starve dies, and since we gravitate towards what we contemplate, we change the subject matter. We change it from problem and issue to desired result. What is it we want? And then from there, the problem is going to get addressed. It's just a whole bunch of other things are going to get addressed as well. Now, as we press forward through this topic with you today, the other thing that we're thinking about, you know, that we wanted to share with you, railroad tracks, is truly thinking into the future. If you could look past 2 to 5 years, start 2 to 5 years, and then as you get your 2 to 5 year vision, what do you want to be different in your life that you're celebrating, that you're, am I stealing your thunder?
No, that's all right. You take it away.
You're proud of, right? 2 to 5 years ago, if your life and your marriage is such and such, your family is such and such, you're living here, you're in this kind of physical condition, your health is this, your finances are this, you know, your spiritual walk together, your relationship and how you're feeding one another is this, and you define those things 2 to 5 years out. Now you've got something that you can work towards in unity together, and you're able to build on common ground. And it's interesting, again, what you feed grows, what you starve dies. All right, I'm gonna pass it to you because I could keep on running, but I don't want to.
No, it's good. So
monopolize
this weekend. Here's what we'd like you to do. We have 5 questions that we'd like you to consider. Okay, so here we go. What's right? What do you want more of in your future? What are you celebrating that you want to welcome and invite God more of these kinds of activities, more of this kind of communication, more of this kind of connection? So what's right?
Yep.
In your finances, in your sexual intimacy, in your parenting, in what's right? What do you want more of? Second, what's wrong? You know, as we think about the future, it's okay to think about what you want to change.
Absolutely, you have to.
Right? I want to make sure I'm healthier. I want to make sure I'm eating better. And so sometimes we identify what we do want by knowing what we don't want. And so what is it that you'd like to change? So what's right? What's wrong? Those of you that have done a life plan with us know what's coming next, and that is what's missing. So what do you want to add to your life? What is it that you want to do more activity around? And you want to, maybe it's you want to take time to slow down, have a time for reflection, have a time for more connection.
Maybe you want to change your career too, you know, just to, again, bring it to some real practical. It's just, you know, again, it's
maybe you want to move to Florida.
Maybe you do want to move to Florida. We highly recommend.
You know what? At one point, we looked at one another and we said, if we're ever going to remake ourselves, why not remake ourselves now? Why would we want to wait until we're in our retirement?
Yeah.
Why not go live where we want to live now? Other people are down there and they have jobs.
Yeah, I mean, it literally was like, it's so funny because we were just of a paradigm of such responsibility, and we thought, you know, people, we always wanted to live down south because we hate winter. And we just decided one day, it's like, you know, if we get the opportunity to start over again, we might as well do it down south someplace, right? Like where it's nice and warm. And surely people in Florida work. They're not all retired, right? And lo and behold, listen, it was a bumpy landing, but we made it through it, and we're doing well now. And
but that future vision of just saying, well, why not? Why would we?
Yeah.
It opened the door for us to be aware, so that when the opportunity came, guess where we live? Obviously, we live in Florida.
You bet.
And we have now for 10 years.
What's the final question?
So what's right, what's wrong, what's missing, and what's confused? And there's just that place of sometimes... Julie Andrews. What's confused? And that's okay to be able to identify some of the things you want to put future thought into as well. But vision all begins with this final question. And that is, what do we want? So if you can suspend all of the present day activities, if you can begin to dream and welcome by asking, what is it that we want this weekend? Ask those 5 questions again very quickly. What's right? What's wrong? What's missing? What's confused? And what do we want? When you start with that, it allows you to get past the present day and begin to dream into the future.
Yep. And you might do this separately as a couple. One may do it and the other one do it separately. And then what's cool is coming together and seeing what commonality you had in your answers. And then what's cool is you're able to build on common ground from that point. We've been designed by our Creator to... We've been designed by our Creator to want to be, do, and have more. We've been designed by our Creator to want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. Why not do that within your marriage? It greases the skids for everything else that you want in your marriage. And anyway, we're about 16, 17 minutes in here, so we probably need to wrap up. But
so have vision, take time to dream together. Jeremiah 29:11 once more is to give you a hope and a future. His plan is a plan of blessing. Hey, we'd love for you to join us. If you go to marriedforapurpose.com, some of you right now may be having some questions that you want to delve deeper into it, but you feel stuck really how to do that by yourself. We want to give you a gift. All right. So for your donation of any amount, doesn't matter what it is, if you go up to marriedforapurpose.com, go to that donation section, you'll see a button there. Your donation of any amount, in the gift section, write Thrive, and we want to send you 10 videos that'll help you to walk into your future.
Yeah, so the key is you go to the site, you just go to the give page, you make a donation of any size, but in the notes you write Thrive. And when you write Thrive in there, that triggers us to know that we need to send you this series of videos to help you work on your vision. Somebody asked, by the way, I'm going to address this just very, very quickly. Somebody said, do we ask, what's our vision and what do we want? Or do we ask, what does God want?
Oh boy, here we go.
And I'm glad you asked. And again, I'm going to do it in short version, and we might need to have a sidebar conversation, or we might need to address this separately. Here's what I'm going to coach you to do. I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want? Babe. And the reason for this, I don't want you to ask God. I know that some people want to hang me upside down and crucify me right now for saying that. But let me tell you why. If you'll stick with me, I'll explain to you why I want you to ask, what do you want, before you ask, what does God want?
Right.
I don't want your religiosity and your pre-programming to come into play. All I'm asking you to do is get honest with yourself about what you really want for your life.
Yep.
Is that sinful? Is there anything that's not honoring to God to have clarity on what it is that you want for your life? I don't think so. I really don't think so. We
can't really get honest with God until we get honest with ourselves.
He knows anyway.
Yep.
And I think so often in my life, what I really wanted was buried under a bunch of religious obligation, a bunch of things other people wanted for me, a bunch of other things that other people wanted me to want, and here's a catch.
Oof.
Things that I wanted to want that I didn't really want. So, just get honest with yourself first. Just get honest with yourself first. And then once you get really honest about the things inside of you that you really, really want, that would make your future awesome and exciting, and don't you dare dumb it down.
Yep.
Then take it to God. Take it to God and honestly ask Him, say, Lord, what is it that you say about this? What do you say about this?
So good.
My bet is that he's going to give you tons of affirmation that he was the very one who put that thing in you. And that a bunch of other people programmed you and made you think that you needed to do or want something different than what he designed you to want to begin with.
So good, babe.
Part of your purpose is probably buried underneath and within all of those different things inside of us. He created us for a purpose, and I think when we ignore our desires, there's some desires that are not of God. You're going to be able to sort those out by balancing them against Scripture. You know, Scripture's always going to be where we come back to measure that.
So, and coming back to that, it is always under God's
always
authority.
Under God's authority.
God's never going to tell us to do something that runs contrary to His Word. But here's the great thing: when we get really honest with ourselves, we're able to then to come to a level set of what it is that we do desire, and then we do come back to God and just say, "Okay, God, what do you have to say about that?"
And He'll speak to you. I guarantee you, He'll speak to you. He will. Hey, listen, guys, we need to wrap up, but we love you. We thank you so much for your faithfulness. You might want to share this forward if there's something in here that blessed you.
What did speak to you today? Put it in the comment sections. Start your own watch party. Send it forward and tell your friends why you're sending it forward, what you got from it. And that way they can listen for that nugget and some other nuggets. Again, if you'd like to contribute to the ministry, go up to the donation button, but also write the word Thrive in there. And we will send you the 10 videos to help you discover and develop God's purpose for you as a couple.
Hey, we got to go tend to our other peeps. Bless you. Have a good day.